Hi everyone. We've been very busy this year. We've had lots of things going on, but to start with, we decided we would tackle our wedding garden because weddings are going to be a very important part of our finances eventually, and it takes a while for a garden to come together.
Yeah, when we started to do the garden, we realized that it's not going to be a walk in the park, as they say.
We're trying to make it a walk in the park.
Yeah, we tried to make a park out of it, but then we found out we had rocks and rocks and rocks, and not any rocks, they're flint. So they are very tough, very heavy. Any tool you use, they just kill the tools. So we had to hire a very big digger, 22-ton digger. And you'd be surprised to know, Alison was working on the digger as well.
Yep, I have now digger experience.
With a big massive breaker. So yeah, we took all the rocks that we thought we'd taken enough, and he's always found out you have a few more.
So we had a plan, we actually did have a plan for our wedding garden, and these rocks were key central parts of where we needed to do our plan. So in the end, we literally had to lift them out of the ground. There was no way of working around them, putting in drainage and things like that. So we spent ages digging the garden up, and then we invited some very good friends of ours who worked with Xeon in the UK to come and build beautiful walls around the wedding garden, which will contain various planting, lawns, terraces, but it creates the pathways through the wedding garden from the chateau to what will become our wedding barns eventually. So this year has been a lot of mud. It's been raining incessantly, so it's been quite tough, but we're finally getting there. We've got some beautiful walls to show for it.
The good thing about the walls that we built, they actually been built from the rocks that we took out of the ground, but they had to be broken into bits. So we had to use hydraulic breakers, hammers, everything really. And they're very dangerous. It's like smashing glass.
One of the reasons we wanted to use the rocks from the garden is because we wanted the walls to reflect the other buildings. We've got a beautiful old farmhouse which overlooks the wedding garden, and we wanted these walls to reflect that in the colour and the type of stone. So if we'd imported stone, it would have jarred, it would have been too different from the existing buildings. So now we've got these beautiful walls. They actually look as if they've been there for ages because they're made from the same material as all the old buildings. So that was our biggest project through the spring and the summer, wasn't it?
Yeah.
And then what else did we do? We dug our swimming pool. While we had this huge digger on site, we decided we would carve out the swimming pool from all the clay, and it sat there full of water because we haven't been able to.
The reason we dug the swimming pool is because we've been worried. You have so many rocks.
That's
we
true.
said, we have this digger. It costs thousands to hire. So we said, you know what? Let's do the swimming pool. We found one small rock in the whole swimming pool.
The swimming pool's in the field next to the chateau, not in the front garden where the wedding garden is. And it was completely different soil. It was just amazing. We dug it in less than a day, didn't we?
3 hours, 3.5 hours.
So we now have a huge hole in the ground full of mud and water, but we're determined to try and get that finished for next summer.
No, you said people, if they want to have a mud bath, they can come and use that.
La Roche-Posay, the famous skincare brand, is just around the corner. So we reckon our mud could be just as good as theirs.
It would be La Boutiniere Posay.
Yeah, so anyway, hopefully by next summer we'll have a swimming pool, and that will be great for all our gîte guests and for us and our family. So that's our project coming up. That's the second thing we did, wasn't it?
Well, and we had a few days, it was so hot we couldn't work outside. There was no way you can work outside. So we decided to have an opening from between the two barns.
Yes.
And that was a project and a half.
Well, actually, that in itself, we bought 2 barns off our neighbour, and these will be our wedding barns because we already own one barn, and the 2 barns we bought were next door to that one. So we've got one as a dining hall, the other one is going to be a professional kitchen, but they're quite a long way off yet. We haven't started them. Well, we started knocking through between them so we can actually move easily between them. So another outdoor project. But we also created 2 gîtes, didn't we?
We created 2 gîtes. We fixed a lot in the hunting lodge.
Yeah.
We start building the steps and making the slabs to go into the wedding garden. we have our the urns.
Oh, yes.
But you know, when we start to mix the concrete for the slabs, we said, let's do two of them. One, it was 6 cubic meter by hand. That was crazy, because when you look at it, you think, it's all right, we can do it. And before you know,
Your garden flower pots.
no, not the flower pots, the slab.
Oh, the
The
big
steps,
slab.
yeah.
Oh, yes. I mean, creating the path from the chateau to the wedding barns eventually, which cuts through the middle of the garden. That took some serious concrete. But I thought when you said about urns.
Yeah, the urns is we bought these cast iron urns to try to copy the two that we have in the back. And one of the things is that you panicking, you're ordering something online and they have to be made specially for us, and you trust the measurements and you trust everything. And thanks God they are here.
Well,
and
these
they
urns,
look exactly what we asked for.
we had to explain what they are. These urns are 2 metre high cast iron garden flower pots on pedestals. And we have 2 of them in the rear of the chateau already. They were here when we bought the chateau. And they look so beautiful. For the Christmas series on Chateau DIY, we moved them into the hunting lodge 18 months ago. And they looked equally good in there. So we didn't really want to move them back out again. We thought, well, what happens if we tried buying these? And the best place to buy them was China. So we thought, okay, well, we'll see if we can buy 2 more. In the end, we bought 5.
We had to buy 5 because it's a minimum order.
But also we decided we'd have 2 for the hunting lodge so we can put the original ones back in the garden. And then we make 1 into a fountain in the wedding garden. And then we've got 2 extras. So we thought we would sell those to pay for all the others. So we handed over this deposit, not having a clue whether these things were going to arrive from China. And actually, how long did it take? 3 months?
4 months.
4 months later, we have a call to say they're arriving in a port in the north of France. So we're rushing around trying to get ourselves an import agent, having never done any of this before, in French, of course. And eventually, quite surprisingly, we had 5 massive boxes arrive at the chateau, so big they wouldn't bring the lorry down the drive. So Zion had to get his tractor out and start hoiking these huge boxes around. Now we're the proud owner of 5 beautiful, tall, 2 metre high cast iron urns. And if anyone would like to buy 2, we have 2 spare.